Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Cookies with Coder Bunnyz. Today we have with us the multi-talented writer and broadcaster, Jason Middleton, who hosts his own business and technology show, KGO 810 AM in San Francisco. Previously, the director of integrated media company called NBC Bay Area. He has covered all the platforms and has been in the newsroom since the age of 18.
That's a long time ago.
So this is going to be one interesting interview, as we are going to be turning the tables today. Because usually Jason asks the questions and the other person answers. But today, I'm going to be asking the questions and he's going to be answering. So today, Jason's in the hot seat.
Very much the hot seat. I'm not used to being on this side of the microphone. I'm ready, though.
Reporting is always such an adrenaline rush. You are always starting out on a new story every day, and you're always building new mental muscles. How do you prepare for it?
One of the reasons I got into... That's a really good question. You did these, right? Okay, I'm just saying. It's always good when you hear the guests say it's a really good question because you know that they have to think about what they're about to say.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm thinking about this. Okay. I got into journalism, honestly, because it was exactly what you said. It's something new every day, right? And so my first job was at college radio. I covered a rather tragic incident that happened outside of my dormitory, and I got on the air first with it. And then since then, after that, I covered the State House for politics for newspapers, and then I got into copy editing, which is kind of like who puts the paper to bed at night. And then that didn't pay a lot, so I learned how to use graphic design software, so I became a graphic artist, a graphic designer in the art department. And so, but it's all news related, right? So the thing about the graphic arts that I did was you literally have a blank page when you walk into work and you leave every day with something that's filled. It's not just you, of course. You're using all the reporters are out there and you're placing stories, and the photographers are doing their work, and the graphic artists are building the maps and the infographics, and you get to put it all together. That was really intriguing, and so that kind of transferred pretty well into management, and that's where I went into some other stuff. Like you said, NBC, I ran LA.com for a while. I'm trying to think of some others, but as far as the adrenaline, that happens a lot of times when I have guests on my show, because I get paid to talk to really smart people all the time and get to learn from them, which is a pretty cool gig.
That's really cool. So any piece of advice you would give to kids who want to go into journalism or who want to be like a reporting personality or somebody like that? Right.
It's a tough field right now, but I will say that just in general, if you want to do that, to be a really good writer, you need to be a really good reader. And I would say that the more you read, the better you will write. And that both of those things together kind of helps you figure out what questions you want to ask. Right? There's always a story to be told, and you have to really like the truth. And that doesn't mean you have to read just nonfiction books, right? You can read fiction books, and of course, storytelling is wonderful in fiction, and that helps you, grow into your role as the journalist, because your job is to try to find the real story there, not just necessarily talking points. Somebody trying to pitch a company to you or something like that. There might be something there a little more interesting and something a little bit under. So just be confident in asking the second question that maybe you didn't have planned in the first place, but you have to be present in the moment like you are here with me, and I have a feeling you're going to have some follow-up questions given some of the answers I give you.
I do think that I will have quite a few more follow-up questions coming up in the coming questions.
Oh, I'm ready.
So, I just love your voice. Any tips on how to get a more efficient voice, like in the radio?
Well, you have a very pleasant voice too, actually,
Thank you.
and it's going to change a little bit. I know that, but it won't change a heck of a lot, I wouldn't think. And so it's nice register, nice tone. I don't know exactly how I came by my voice because my mom and my dad don't have a voice like mine. I have a feeling that I abused my voice in college quite a bit by going to concerts and whatnot, and singing along with the band, off key, of course, because of the register. But I don't know how to train it. All I can say is that for me, I started out speaking very quickly because the adrenaline rush, right? I would get excited and I would talk really fast and I would try to ask all the questions at one time and it would come out of my mouth like this. And so what I decided to do was I taught myself to use the last couple of letters in every word. so that I would slow down. So it's basically enunciation is more important than pronunciation in some cases, and then the voice at the back end of it. Now the voice does help me on the radio and things like that, and it helps on TV sometimes too, but it really is the content, right, of what you're saying, not just how you're saying it.
That's true. The content is very important more than how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Right.
So, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I have a cool gig because I get to talk to really smart people and I get to learn something every day. That's cool. Being able to be creative in your work, like I told my daughter this the other day, like you have to trick somebody into paying you to do what you love to do, right? Because it doesn't feel like work at that point, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I am right now, luckily. It doesn't always happen. But being able to be creative every day, being able to have a point of view is a luxury that I am very cognizant of and that I take very seriously. I try to be informed and I try to research and I try to, if I do have an opinion or if I'm writing an op-ed piece for the newspaper or whatever, or maybe an op-ed piece for my show, then I like to be informed. I want to make sure that I'm putting forth the best effort I possibly can because there are probably about 100 people right behind me who'd like to have my job.
Yes, that's very true. So, if you could travel to any place in the world, where would that be?
Wow, that is also a great question. I was just researching. I'm hoping to go to Italy next year. We were in France for a couple of months this summer, and so we're going to try to go back to Italy next year. So I've been thinking about Venice a lot because I'm worried that Venice won't be here in 20 years or so because of the sea level rise. Mm-hmm. And the reason I come to that conclusion is because, again, I hate to go back to my show, but it's I get to talk to the smart people, right? And
yes.
So I had this guy on. He said he wrote a book about security, mm-hmm. right? Like national security. You'd think terrorism or awful things like that. No, the number one risk to the United States right now is sea level rise. And he's not a scientist, right? He's like a CIA guy. And he says this is the biggest thing. So when I was thinking about traveling next year, I wanted to see something that unfortunately may not be here in 20 years.
Wow. It's really cool that now that I come to think about it, some places might disappear.
Well, for that matter, you should go to Miami. It may not be here either in 20 years.
So here's what I think is the most toughest question.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad you teed me up. Okay, I'm ready.
Cookies, cake, or chocolate? Which one's your favorite?
That was not prepped for this one. Okay. Cookies, cake, or what was the third one?
Chocolate.
Okay. Cookies, chocolate. Okay. I have to preface this by saying I don't like sugar.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a tough one for me. But dark chocolate. I am a sucker for dark chocolate, especially if it has. Have you ever had dark chocolate that has
I love chocolate. Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate, right? Like not milk chocolate. No, like the stuff that's not. It's a little bit sweet, but a little bit bitter too.
Yeah.
I like it with red hot peppers in it. Have you ever tried that?
No.
I'm gonna have some on my desk. You want me to go get it?
No, I'm good.
All right, fine. All right. Maybe off camera.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jason. You told us so much about reporting and how kids like us could become great reporters like you. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for asking me. This has been a lot of fun.
This has been so much fun, yeah?
You're going to come back on my show?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
good.
definitely want to.
All right. Thanks.